How is everybody doing today? My name is Master Zero, and this is I married a real-life vampire and lost my friends. Now, right off the bat, man, if you lost your friends and your wife is a vampire, I'm starting to understand where they went. But like, all jokes aside, man, she's probably like a cosplayer or like someone that likes to LARP a lot, and she kind of got a little too invested in the role. That's what I'm assuming this is gonna go, you know, like what route it's gonna take, but I have no idea. I'm gonna be real with you. With a title like that, it could be, she might be an actual vampire because it says a real live vampire, so like, I'm trying not to drop the facade, as you could tell, but I'm very curious to see how this goes, man, so without any further ado, here is I married a real life vampire and lost my friends.
This is Sean.
Hi, Sean.
He fell in love with Helly.
Oh.
We're leaving town because
Okay,
my
hold
wife...
up. I'm sorry for pausing so early, but I need to check out her teeth. Okay, so now that I see it just like paused in front of me, they do look a little iffy, but right when it showed it in motion, you know, during the actual footage, it actually looked like real vampire teeth, I'm not gonna lie. So just seeing the title and her, I'm just like, she could be real. But now that I'm freeze frame, man, no, that's not the case.
We're leaving town because my wife is a vampire. She got mentioned again recently in the paper. The paper was talking about the vampire murder cult.
And I got a bunch of comments on Facebook.
The couple are judged because of Helly's unusual identity.
Is there actually a deadly vampire cult in the town, or are they just trying to... Are they grasping at straws here? Because it could be one of both ways, man. If there's an actual vampire cult and she happens to look like a vampire, you put two and two together, you know? But I thought this was just a wacky little cosplay section going on, but I'm starting not to think, man, if the actual newspaper addresses it, it could be like what I stated earlier, you know, where it's just they put two and two together, they grasp at straws and stuff like that. But if there's actually murders and stuff and the title says "Lost My Friends," I'm starting to get concerned, man.
All these trolls online saying I'm fat and ugly, you know, it's the sun.
Rude.
The sun is your biggest hater. My friend Ryan will be coming over today.
I never pegged John for being into magic or the occult.
I was about to say, it's not magic, it's a cult.
Mutual friend or perhaps ex-friend at this point. You cast a spell and the next day they got into a car crash.
Did that actually happen, by the way? I have so many questions, as I usually do with these love don't judge things, but come on, man, what is happening? I don't understand.
Today, I'm gonna do
Ohio.
a deep read on
I
Sean.
can see why they're terrified.
Are you ready for me to take
I'm sorry,
your
what?
energy?
Please.
Alright. There are different types of energy. There's ambient energy, which is the energy that's around people and not on them. And
Okay.
that's usually what I take. Big events where there's a lot of people.
Oh, okay. She's not a blood-sucking vampire. She's like Phil Collins on, what's it called? What We Do in the Shadows. She's an energy vampire. I get it now.
Big events where there's a lot of people and there's a lot of good hype. That energy is in the air, and I usually
love the
tend to
glasses.
just take it all in. And for like a deep feeding, which would be like me trying to take his energy, that would need consent.
Can we stop with the music? You gonna take a little nap?
Like I'm gonna sneeze.
Hey.
We met about maybe 2-3 years ago at a steakhouse in downtown where we live. I think I learned about the vampire thing very early on.
Can we go back to how they met at a steakhouse? Usually it's just like, oh, I'll have the raw steak with as much blood as you can possibly put in it. But going back to like how she actually looks, you know, she doesn't look that bad. I don't know why she has. Obviously, you kind of go back to what I said at the beginning, where it's just she might have been like too into the cosplay or the LARPing scene, you know, and then that's why she feels like she has to wear wigs and stuff like that. But her natural beauty shines. I can't lie.
I realized I was a vampire probably late 2021, and that's kind of
Kinda
when
looks like that
I
actress.
said it out loud. I always knew I was different. Like, did you think I was a crazy person when I told you I was a vampire?
No.
No?
He just shrugs it off. Okay.
I like to dress like a vampire as often as I
Obviously.
possibly can, because it's like a reflection of my soul.
Hold up. I was gonna state earlier how she's walking around in the sunlight and stuff. That's usually a no-go for vampires, but for her to say she has a reflection, I'm starting to see the holes in the scenario.
I got all kinds of stuff.
I've got like
I could see.
vampire shirt.
No.
No?
No, too hot.
People
Too
would
hot.
say that I'm an energy
Calm down.
vampire. I prefer to use the term psychic vampirism because that's
Darling
like the
Robertson.
fancy term for it. But I don't drink blood. That's not my thing.
She likes blood sausage though.
I do like blood
Hey,
sausage.
hey, I was right. That's why she was camping out at the steakhouse, man. It all makes sense now. Oh, I should be a detective.
I think that blood sausage is chef's kiss.
I can't get over like her
this dress.
eyes are very magnetized.
Paired with this wig because this is the classic vampire Helly wig. So I think it's only
Right
only
on.
logical that I would wear this.
He knew the way that I dressed. He knew that I was on TikTok and did like all this vampire
Okay.
stuff there. But he didn't know it went beyond like dress up. So I was like, I'm gonna have to have that conversation with him. I'm gonna have to tell him that I'm literally a vampire.
Okay, I guess literal in the not literal sense. But why didn't you start off with you're a TikTok star? That makes so much more sense now. Some of them, I don't want to, talk mean or anything like that, but most of the TikTok stars, they want to seek the fame as best as they can, so they find that niche and they literally stick with it as long as possible. But I don't know, man, like it seems like she's having fun just being a vampire, putting that in quotation marks there, because like I'm not gonna lie, man, I used to dress up as Spider-Man as early as like I don't know, when I was 20. I'm 29 now, so I haven't dressed up as like any superheroes or anything in quite some time, but I did used to go to Comic-Con and do cosplay and stuff like that, so I kind of understand where she's coming from. Like it is fun to dress up as like somebody you're not, but to constantly do it, man, to like make it your identity, that's kind of where the line gets drawn,
I just looked him like dead in the eye and was like, I am a real life living vampire.
And you took his
And
energy.
I'll be dressed like this. I'm not done up in any way. And she's got all the makeup and everything. And people coming in saying, "Oh boy, you better run."
Okay,
When
rude.
I was on the front page of the paper, I thought that people were gonna be a little bit
Hold up, I gotta read that. I'm sorry. Not to cut you off mid-sentence. Ooster woman says she lives as a vampire. Okay, they must not have that much breaking news at all if that's on the freaking front page, man. And then the Orville School Board celebrates literacy. That's off topic. We're talking about the vampires.
and I got a bunch of comments on Facebook of people saying I'm ugly, I'm not a real vampire,
That's
and
taking it too
sinner,
far.
and that I'm delusional.
We're leaving town because my wife is a vampire.
I was tired
Hey, that's
of
what he said at the
living a
beginning.
lie, pretending that I was normal, and I wanted to finally come out and say, this is me. I'm not a good Christian lady. I'm a freaking vampire.
Hey, there's the fake
You
teeth.
know?
Okay, I have to address, man, that's like, good on her. I'm not gonna lie. I was just gonna like freaking latch my fangs into, I didn't even mean to do that. But like, I was gonna like basically just be judgmental the entire time, but you like what you like, man, and the kind of like using it, like bleeding it into your personality part, that's where I kind of have an issue with, like I stated before. But if you find something that really makes you happy, then why bother hide it from the world, like obviously you're gonna get people that are naysayers and they try to just belittle you the entirety of it, but I don't know, like I'm kind of going back and forth.
Some
Right.
stereotypes that I hate about vampires are that we don't like garlic. I love garlic. I have like a whole jar of spicy garlic, and I'll just be like popping them in my mouth like they're pills, Not
Kinda-
really. I don't do pills.
Okay, I was about to say. But come on, man, do you have any weaknesses? You walk around in the sunlight, obviously, with the freaking window right there. You said you had a reflection. You pop garlic. I want to see if she dies with a wooden stake in her heart. Obviously, even if she was human, that would kill her. But I don't know. I'm starting to think she doesn't have any weaknesses. Or, she's not a real vampire.
Come look, there's a new vampire filter on here. What
Oh,
do you
yeah?
look like as a vampire?
Never gonna find out.
Okay, they have fun with it. I like
I
that.
love having Sean on my TikToks. I just like that he's a part of something that is
Aw.
so important to me. We get negative comments a lot. We've got this one, yikes. It says, Jesus loves you! Repent of your sins now to Jesus!
It's
I don't
funny,
think
you get
that's a
lot of
negative
people who are
comment.
Sort of like vampire gatekeepers who are saying, "Oh, well, if you were a real vampire, then you wouldn't be doing this."
A lot of the times, some of like the worst comments for me
Hey, there's the
were
garlic.
this isn't you. And that kind of gets to me sometimes because I remember that past trauma of when I didn't know who I was, but I also felt like I was hiding something.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want them to venture into her actual TikToks. I might find her TikTok. I don't have TikTok anymore, but I'm curious, man. The snippets that we do see of it, it's kind of weird, lack of a better word. I'm trying not to be too mean, you know, but I can't really get behind TikTok in general. So, like, if you have that in front of me, I'm just going to be judging it the entire time. I'm not going to lie. But like I said, man, she found her niche and she's all for it. And the fact that, like, she doesn't want to hide it anymore and she doesn't want to feel ashamed. And again, that's a positivity in my book.
My friend Ryan will be coming over today to discuss how he really feels about mine and Helly's relationship.
Pulls out a freaking wooden stake.
Ryan is a very dear friend
My last
of
name's
mine.
actually Helson.
The night he met her later that night, he was very drunk and he was saying, "Oh, the vampire girl was so hot. Like, you should get together with the vampire girl."
All right, then.
I'm Brian. I've been
Hi,
friends
Brian.
with
So it's
John
your
and
fault.
Ellie, for as long as they've known each other.
Hey!
One guy that couldn't run away.
He was sort of a chronic bachelor for the longest time.
Wait
And
a
then
minute. Wait. Don't vampires have like hypnotic spells and stuff like that? Maybe she's. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm starting to put two and two together here. He's the friend that doesn't run away because at the very beginning, man, the very first night they met, she put a spell on him. That's why. Oh, that's why he's so like in with it and everything.
They're both really old souls. I never pegged John.
Is it because she's a
for
vampire and she
being,
lives forever?
Into magic or the occult or anything outre, but she seems to be sort of his other half, maybe his darker
Opposites
side.
When
attract. I
was
get
the
it.
first time you saw her dressed as a
Oh.
vampire?
She just
Let's
came
suck
downstairs.
chips.
I think she had
Love
been either making a video or had been live, yeah. And then she came downstairs, just in the full garb, and I was sort of like,
You didn't know.
no, I'd never seen her with the way
That
she
makes
does
sense.
teeth and
You
everything.
get taken back a little
I'd heard
bit.
about it.
A little.
And by then, I knew her well enough and had heard about it, but had never seen it.
Well, the teeth rub makes it.
Who would have known? Who would have thought? She got mentioned again recently in the paper.
Oh, yeah?
He was talking. Yeah, the paper was talking about
Not just a one-time thing?
A vampire murder cult, and then it immediately, like in the last paragraph, it shifted and it was like, but there is a very nice vampire who lives here who doesn't cut people's heads
Is it
off.
implying that
Oh.
you're in a murder cult?
Maybe that's why they had to put that at the end.
Okay, that's what I was saying at the very beginning, man. It's like obviously publicity and journalism and stuff like that. They try to make it fresh and hip, and you want to buy the paper, which who buys the paper anymore? But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But you would put two and two together, and you're like, well, there's a vampire murder cult around, and we do have a vampire in our city. But they said she's a nice vampire, so that kind of warmed my heart. I'm not gonna lie.
Because I don't want.
They had to make it relevant.
I'm not in a murder cult.
I do
Are you?
know of a mutual friend, or perhaps ex-friend at this point, who had been seriously
Getting spicy.
affected by her, I don't want to say witchcraft, but like your magic.
Oh, is this the car crash
When
thing?
you got really mad at a certain somebody and you cast a spell and the next day they got into a car crash.
Yes.
Maybe don't laugh at that.
What I did is something that's called a return to sender spell. So I don't really
Pokemon?
hex people for no reason. It's usually they did it first, right? So what I'll do is return to sender. So it's not that they're getting something worse. It's they're
karma.
getting the same thing so that they can kind of see.
She's literally just describing karma. It's like eye for an eye or whatever you want to call it, you know. Essentially that's what it is, man. She got treated badly, so she wanted the other person to be treated just as bad. But that made me feel weird whenever they just laughed about the dude having a car crash and stuff. I don't know about that part, and the whole hexing and everything else. Like, I thought it was just like kind of I was gonna say like a party trick or something like that. That's not what it is at all. It's just she likes to cosplay as a vampire. Long story short, you know.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Salud.
So today we're gonna go on a picnic, but I have to prepare my skin. The sun affects me
Okay.
in a pretty negative way. Like, I
Elaborate.
remember growing up, all my friends were always having fun, running around in the sun, and I would always get headaches. And
Oh, I
I
was
would
gonna say
always
sunburn.
get made fun of for having headaches all the time. It really takes the fun out of my day to be in the sun all the time and not have like at least a hat.
You gonna
or
move it all, buddy?
sunglasses or something.
So we're gonna have some sunscreen today, and I'm gonna put some pretty much like just on my nose, because even though like the sun has gone down a little bit, I still need to make sure that like my skin is protected.
Okay, I don't want to be that guy, but wouldn't that amount of makeup protect? I couldn't even finish the sentence. Wouldn't that amount of makeup on your face protect you from the sun? I don't know how makeup works. Obviously, I'm a dude, and I don't participate in the cosmetic scene. That's a really nice way to put it. But I don't know, like, if the sun gives you headaches, I kind of get that, man. Me being the complexion that I am, you know, I rarely go out into the sun, and I'm very low on vitamin D myself. So going out into the sun, I don't get headaches, even though I do get headaches quite a bit. I think it's genetic. My mom gets headaches all the time, but I'm getting way off topic again, but I don't even remember why I paused it. Oh, yeah, the makeup thing.
The sun makes me very nauseous.
The sun is your biggest hater.
Headaches or
People think
nauseous?
that being a vampire
Umbrella does
isn't
not help
real.
you.
They, you know,
You
mock
snort
me and say,
cocaine, man? What'd you do?
You know, I want to suck their blood, and you know.
I do
they
not
think
say
I'm
blah,
just
blah, blah.
cancer. And I think people get confused because my job is to live stream on TikTok as a fictional vampire. All these
She
trolls
said it.
online saying I'm fat and ugly and not a real vampire.
See,
No,
that's
it's the
taking it
sun.
too far.
It's the sun that does it for me.
Freaking inspirational music
This
up in here.
relationship works because we're not the exact same. We have a lot of similarities.
That's how it's saying
but
opposites
we have
attract,
things
man.
about us that are unique, and not only that, we accept those things.
Dude,
even if
she
they're
sucked
not
his
our
energy
things.
dry.
He doesn't believe
He's
in
just spent
all of the
the
supernatural
entire
stuff,
time.
but he loves me and he accepts me for who I am.
Well, that's
With
what
him,
matters,
I feel
man.
like I'm seen.
What I like most about her is just how
Make my heart
confidently
warm.
herself she is, how absolutely unafraid, how brutally honest she is.
I'm gonna grow old with him.
Yay, that's another. I just keep finding ways to just belittle her. I guess belittle. I'll put that in quotation marks, lack of a better word, you know. But man, I don't know. At the end of the day, they seem made for each other. Like I was saying throughout the majority of the reaction, like opposites do attract. So if you find that person that's kind of the exact opposite from you, you can link up sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. Don't get me wrong. It's not just like 100% guarantee, you know, but a person's a person, man. And it kind of varies who you find attractive and stuff like that. And you kind of mesh with and everything. And they seem like they found the perfect person. Unless, like I was talking about the whole, like, she might be a real vampire and she's hexed him, or I don't even know how spells work. I'm going to be real with you, but I'm guessing like the voodoo side of it, you know, like, but it could be that she hexed him into falling in love with her, and then the whole like friend with the car crash thing, I have questions about that. They didn't really elaborate that. They just laughed it off, literally laughed it off. Like, but I don't know, like, I have mixed feelings about this one, I'm not gonna lie, because one, they do seem happy together, but two, she's taking it a bit far, man. I understand, me of all people, like, understand the fun part of dressing up and cosplaying like somebody you're not, but to use that as your identity, like that seems to be the number one thing going for her, and I can't really get behind that, man. Like, just be the normal person, like I stated in the reaction, you know, like whenever she was like without her costume, she seemed cool. Like I talked about her natural beauty, like I really did see her beauty in it, you know, but then you cover it with makeup or vampire makeup, whatever you want to say, and like put fangs on and stuff. The fangs were cool, I'm not gonna lie. But all in all, at the end of the day, it's their own relationship. Do whatever makes you happy, and they both seem happy about it. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Leave a like down below, subscribe, ring the bell, become a member. You get videos a day early, and check out the merch. So with that said, I have been Master Zero. Y'all guys have been fantastic, and I'll see y'all at the end. In the next video. Later days.